It's Monday, November 19th, 2012, and let's talk about what happened this weekend over at xdadevelopers.com. Just a few things to cover today, so let's go ahead and get started. First up, as you know, we've been talking a lot about different Jelly Bean leaks and releases that have happened over the last few weeks, spanning the range of devices from very old to very new. But one device that has not seen any love yet is the Samsung Galaxy S2. That said, Jelly Bean has been available for it for a while now, but nothing official. But now, thanks to XDA4 member iZap, it appears we've got our hands on a Samsung leaked test build for the i90-100. It comes with the latest, greatest version of TouchWiz, if you consider TouchWiz to be great. I know a lot of people do, a lot of people don't. It's kind of mixed. And the general consensus on it seems to be pretty positive at this point, so if you have the i90-100 and you're interested in flashing this, you will have to be familiar with doing Odin, but go ahead and do some reading on the forum and see if this is for you. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last few weeks, you're probably aware that the Nexus 4 is now available. At least it's been released, and some people have gotten their hands on them until the Play Store just kind of made them disappear. Yeah, not available for weeks and weeks at this point. But if you do have your hands on one and you've not rooted it yet, XDA senior member and news writer HQ Raja has gone ahead and written up a guide on how to root it. Now that said, it's a Nexus device. It's not expected to be particularly hard, but one way or another, it is nice to have that documentation available. So if you've got your hands on the Nexus 4 and you do want to root it, if you have not already, go ahead and take a look at his post. And coincidentally enough, and speaking of rooting and HQ Raja, the Droid DNA has been announced and I think released in some places. Have not seen it officially yet. I think Verizon's going to be getting it, and I will hopefully get my hands on it at some point in the near future. Apparently it's been rooted as well, like I said, by HQ Raja. It's supposed to be pretty straightforward, just like the Nexus 4, just like most other HTC devices. It follows the same sort of pattern. You use the HTC Dev website to unlock it, and then you fast boot flash some stuff, and then you are rooted. Put your custom recovery on and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that was kind of a short third story there, but anyway, moving on. Now, as I've mentioned a few times in the past, we are not just an Android shop here. We do talk about Windows Phone and Windows 8. Well, since Windows 8 is now officially out and the Microsoft Surface is now available, a lot of XDA developers have started working on their own Windows 8 apps. XDA forum member Hullkey has ported an application that was available for Android and Windows Phone 7 called CamSpeed. It gives you a benchmark for what your camera can do, what it's capable of, all of that fun sort of stuff. And also, XDA senior member and XDA TV producer Lance Seidman has gone ahead and released his application. It's called Health Center, and it allows you to quickly, easily compare medications by name and get the different prices to see what's the best buy. Not really something that you'd think that you would need, depending on your insurance level and where you're buying it from and such, but that's one of those things that if you need it, you don't know you need it until you need it, so kind of a handy thing to have. And one way or another, it is very nice to see members of the XDA community contributing to things other than just Android, even though I am definitely a bit of an Android fanboy. And the last thing I thought I'd talk about is actually kind of two stories in one. As we've mentioned quite a few times in the past, Apple sues everybody, everybody sues Apple back and forth. Well, it looks like one of the cases, one of the whole lawsuits is coming to an end. That's right, Apple and HTC have come to an agreement. They've managed to work out some sort of a licensing where it appears that HTC is going to be paying between $5 and $20 per affected unit to Apple. So essentially, by buying an HTC device moving forward, you're paying part of that money to Apple so that they can license potentially infringed upon things. Now, I know what a lot of people are saying, this is good, that's getting it over with, it's just getting the lawsuits out of the air and being able to move forward. But on the other side of things, it's acknowledging that they think they've done something wrong. It's acknowledging patents like the rounded rectangles and now I guess the animated page turns and whatever else Apple has decided to patent today. And more to the point, it's really setting a bad precedent for everybody else that Apple's suing. It's essentially saying, yeah, you say that we're in the wrong, so we're just going to go ahead and give in and just give you the money that you want. And honestly, what I'm kind of concerned about is Android is taking such a large market share that if all of the OEMs have to start paying little subsidies to Apple for using their technology, then we end up with Apple really gaining the lion's share. Apple being this ridiculously large company to begin with, gaining the lion's share just simply because other companies are doing things in a similar way. Not my place really to say one way or another whether they're infringing, because, I'm just some guy behind a camera, but it does seem more than a little bit odd. So odd, actually, that Samsung has stepped in and said, We need to see the specifics of this. They are petitioning for those specifics at this point. That's another story that came out just late this evening when I'm about to film this. So we should have some interesting times coming up ahead. I really kind of look forward to seeing where the Apple HTC thing goes, and more specifically, what Samsung has to say about it and what happens in the Samsung Apple trial, because things are just getting interesting at this point, and lots of news on the forefront. But that's really about all I've got to say as far as news is concerned today. If you hadn't noticed already, I've got a slightly different wallpaper on the monitor in the background there. That was made by Chi-Wei Ying. He's a guy I met at the Android Barbecue working with Cruiserlight, and he's also involved in a game that I've started playing as of last night. The game is called Ingress. It was made by Google. It's still in the early beta phases, so you have to get an invite to get in on it, but I did do some driving around tonight and some hacking of portals and things like that. Very interested augmented reality type game, so I do highly recommend you take a look at it. There's not really that much to say about it as far as XDA is concerned, but there are a lot of people on XDA getting involved on Google+. Big community on Google Plus around it, so if you are interested in that, check out Google Plus, ingress.com, ingress.com. Definitely worth a look, although like I said, still in beta, still invite only. I don't have any invites, don't ask me. But anyway, that's all from me for today. I'm gonna go mess around with the Ingress, think some more before bed. As always, thank you so much for watching though, and I will see you on Friday.